Welcome to Iron Speed Designer video training. Today we're talking about using the query wizard. Once we have an application that's been created with Iron Speed Designer, we can open that application in edit mode to make changes. So let me get the application I have. I have a recent application, which is the OMS application from the sample applications on the Iron Speed website. The edit mode, we have the application explorer, we have the layout editor, and we have the properties sheet and toolbox available. Our landing page is the sales rep gallery page. Let's take a look at it. Now, every control on a page which uses data has a data source that provides the data. All the data sources can be modified using the query wizard by editing the query in the properties sheet. So let's take a look at what that means for our gallery page. We have the gallery page, and in the properties sheet we see there is a single query in the query section, which is the data provided for the galleries. Let's open that in the query wizard, and we can choose the database. Now, many of these choices will not be enabled because it does not make sense to reasonably change them here. They've already been selected. But the parts you can edit in the query wizard. In particular, you will always be able to edit the where clauses. But let's just step through the query wizard to see anything that we might want to change. You can't change your database server. You can try and change the table that the data comes from, but it says you can't do that in this type of control. Once you've created your page, generally you'll not be able to change the source, the table that determines the data. But we can go on to the next. The join steps are not used here. The join steps are typically only used in the charts, sums, and counts queries. So we'll see those later. You can choose which fields you select for the query. Normally we'd have all fields included, but you can manually select the fields and then take some out or add them back in and only keep a couple. Let's go back to including all the fields. Also, we get to the where clause. And the where clause is where you can limit the data that is selected by the query, and this is where we typically make all our changes, either in the where clause or in the order by. We can add a where clause to our query, an easy thing to do. Let's just say we want to look at the sales rep, and we want the last name. We'd like the last name to start with, and then we can add our formula. If we want the last name of every sales rep that just starts with A, so we'll put in an A, and then you choose whether or not you want to see any data if the formula produces a blank string. If we did produce a blank string, then we would see all data instead of none. Let's continue with our where clause. We can add an order by clause, or we can finish our query and now take a look at the data again. The original data showed all the sales reps, but now we show only the one we've selected by limiting the data with our where clause. Well, let's take that one off because there's one other place you can find data in that you need data in your table controls. Let's take the where clause away from here, put it back the way it was. In our sales rep table control, every table control provides filters. So if we go to the filter section, we'll see that the records can be filtered, and filters usually need data to provide you with selections. Here, the last name filter is, in this case, a quick selector. So with a quick selector control, the data source is not provided on this page, it's provided on the page that shows the quick selector. So here we have a quick selector page. If we wanted to change the data that you saw in your quick selector filter, we would go to the quick selector control. And the quick selector control has its own where clause, and this is the list of values that are available in that control. It's a where clause like a query wizard like all others, where we can go to the where clause, and if we want to limit it, we can add a where clause here. Let's add the same where clause just for demonstration purposes, and show you that the last name wants to start with, in this case, we'll make it an F. I know there's somebody with an F here. So now our query data will be limited. Let's look at that. Now we go back to our gallery page and preview the gallery page, and we see initially all of our sales reps. Let's look at the filters. In the last name filter, we can either have all or fuller. We don't see any others because we've limited it with a where clause. So let's pick fuller and choose that, and then we filtered our data. It restricts the choices, but that's what the where clauses are for. Let's take the filters off. There's one other type of filter that we haven't talked about. Actually, there's a second type, but if we had drop-down lists or list box on the page, then let's see if we can do that. In our filters, we look at our last name filter, which is a quick selector, but we don't have to keep it a quick selector. We can change it to a drop-down list or a list box. Once we do that, we get another data source on the page, which is the data that belongs in the drop-down list. So we can then edit that data source with the query wizard, go to change its where clause, and add a where clause here, and the same way we've done it every place else. The one other place you'll find where clauses or queries that you might want to limit with the query wizard are in the charts and sums and counts. Charts and sums and counts we happen to have in this application. We have a display analytics page which displays charts for the data we have. Let's take a look at that. So here we have the total order amount by each sales rep. Let's see if we can change how that data is presented, or what data is presented, not how it's presented. Back to our layout editor, choose the account sum and chart query. Account sum and chart, here with the asterisk on it, that query that selects the data for that can be edited in the query wizard. And we see we select some values from the sales rep, and here we have a join. So we can go to our join, and we can determine what other data will be joined. So let's just change the path. Here we'll take, instead of the sales rep from the sales rep table, we'll take who they report to. That's reports to the sales rep. See how that changes our data. And now we see that we're talking about the sales rep of who was reported, so that the person reported to sales. So you can see you can change the data used to select your query or chart. go back and change that back. Change the path. We want the sales rep connected to the sales rep, and the sales rep order connected to the order ID. We can also add where clauses here, the same as we did before. And so that completes the video on using the Query Wizard. Be sure to see the many others available on the video pages of our website.